So, ladies and gentlemen, it is my distinct honor to introduce His Excellency Dr. Mohammed Irfan Ali, President of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana, who will deliver the feature address today.
Please have your seats. Thank you very much. I don't know. First of all, allow me to recognize all the beautiful children here this morning and ask you to put your hands together for these children who are out here. Indeed, the future is yours, and we want that future to be one of hope. And if we want your future to be one of hope, then we have to work harder every day to inspire you on a journey of hope. I want to thank the two young people who so skillfully took us through this program. Notwithstanding, you did me a great injustice by bringing me after that beautiful performance. But I want to thank you guys for very skillfully and efficiently guiding us through this program. I want to recognize a statement made by Ms. Hope, a very important statement, especially given the fact that we are embarking on constitutional reform process, consultation process. And that is the fact that rights comes with responsibility. Many times we speak about the rights, all the importance of rights, but we don't speak about the responsibilities that come with those rights. And it's very important that as we engage these children, we do not only focus on the rights, which is essential and important, but that we must be able to demonstrate to them and to teach them the responsibility that comes in protecting those rights, in safeguarding those rights, but the responsibility that comes upon children, parents, and all of us in society to support the rights that we speak about. So it's a difficult conversation sometimes when we speak about responsibilities, because responsibility comes with action, responsibility comes with accountability, responsibility also comes with the way in which we approach life itself. And many times the human spirit does not like to be held responsible. But I want us to understand the weight of that statement made by Ms. Noble. Very weighty statement. And in this region, the Caribbean region, CARICOM, this is a very important topic today. When one calls for constitutional rights, they must also understand with those constitutional rights comes constitutional responsibilities. They go hand in hand. You can't enjoy the beauty of constitutional rights if we do not all adhere to our constitutional responsibilities. And I think this is an apt moment for us to reflect on that also. Here in Guyana, we have seen tremendous improvement in relation to the rights of the child. Taking into consideration we are coming from an era where our children did not even have access to nursery education, primary education. They did not have access to health care. They did not have access to so many important necessities. Your parents, the average age of home ownership was 55 plus. Today, the average age of home ownership is late 20s, early 30s. Now, when your parents were not in a position to own their own homes, it made it very difficult. Those of you whose parents had 7 siblings living in the same home with them, those of you who understood that the family was an expanded community because of home ownership. Those things had an effect on children in many different ways. In many families, the eldest child had to give up education to provide for the youngest children. Not because they were inferior or they were not brilliant, but because the conditions necessitated that. That is why, as a government, over the years, we invested heavily in creating the infrastructure, building the environment, creating an enabling environment through which the development of the child can be complete in a holistic way. And these facilities, even the facility that you're here today, is part of that commitment. Creating safe spaces, family-oriented spaces. And that is why when these spaces are created, we have a responsibility to be true to why the spaces were created. So we don't convert spaces that are so important for the development of children, the family, and community. The safe spaces that we are creating, we don't convert them into conditions that take away from why they were created. You know, if you see the police enforcing action in some of these safe spaces that are not conducive for children, sometimes people themselves would rise up against the action. But I want you to understand that these simple things that we take for granted are part of creating that enabling environment to protect the rights of our children. And we are also fortunate to have a Minister of Human Services and Social Security, who I think have spent her entire life in service to children, young people, families. So at the leadership level, we have people who would have gone through the full dimension, I would say, of all that embodies this significant occasion today. Important to the rights of the child is also the parents and how society and the economy and the country caters for the parents. And I'll give you 2 examples. When, for example, the sugar estate was closed in Wales, immediately we saw many families withdrawing their children from school. We saw many families plunge into depression. For a matter of fact, the minister will tell you this is a story we always tell of a brilliant young girl in Essequibo whose parents, she woke up one morning, they didn't even know, and she heard her parents exchanging words on finding money to buy her a pair of shoes to go back to the second term in school. Because the rice industry at that time was not supported. You know what happened? The child woke up that morning, went to her parents and said, I do not want to go to school anymore. I do not want my education to be the reason for conflict and for argument. These are real examples that actually took place in our country. So that is why it's important that parents are also, guardians are also accounted for in this equation of the rights for the child. That is why we have to invest in creating opportunities. Because if we have stronger families, we'll have stronger communities. If we have stronger communities, we'll have a stronger country. So these are all important aspects of what I think are key in developing the entire ecosystem surrounding the rights of the child. And it is an ecosystem. Different aspects of national life must work together. So we here in Guyana are pleased to join with the United Nations family, as well as the international community, in observing the 35th anniversary of the Convention of the Rights of the Child. The Convention is a landmark treaty that enshrines the fundamental rights of every child. It stands as a legal framework for safeguarding children's rights to survival, protection, development, and participation in society. The Convention sets a benchmark against which state parties can measure their commitments to providing safe, nurturing environments for children. And note, not only safe environment, but safe, nurturing environment. It qualifies what the environment is. The CRC serves as a guiding structure for governments, civil society, and international organizations in promoting child welfare and for holding stakeholders accountable. The Convention is enshrined in the Constitution of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana. In keeping with the commitments under the CRC, Guyana has established a Rights of the Child Commission and has established over the decades the Convention of the Rights of the Child. This convention has become embedded in international humanitarian law. Its principles are now integral to legal and institutional framework, influencing legislation on child protection, education, healthcare, and juvenile justice. The CRC has also informed humanitarian interventions during crises, ensuring that children remain at the forefront of relief efforts in situations of conflict, disaster, and displacement. This anniversary is not only an occasion to celebrate the CRC's profound impact, but also a reminder of the ongoing work needed to address emerging challenges. It is a reminder that we are duty-bound to fulfill the promise of a world where every child's rights are respected, protected, and realized. Now I want to point to emerging challenges. Ms. Noble again spoke about identity, the right of identity. We need to have very mature conversations globally. And the churches, religious leaders, societal leaders, legislators, all must be involved. There is no single player in this equation who must believe he or she or that jurisdiction has a right to define for the rest of the world this issue. This must be a collective global issue that is championed by collectively by all stakeholders around the globe. Otherwise, you will find new benchmarks emerging and countries being graded along benchmarks that would not add to the value of what we want to achieve. You see, there's so many things in the existing framework that we have not achieved as a global community as yet, that adding to the mandate is reducing effort in all the other areas. I believe strongly that we must find a way in which the world can commit to fulfilling this mandate. On this 35th anniversary of the Convention on the Rights of the Child, Guyana reaffirms its unwavering commitment to the principles and rights enshrined in this landmark treaty. The CRC's preamble underscores that children should be nurtured in an environment imbued with peace, dignity, tolerance, freedom, equality, and solidarity. Now, I want us to be honest to ourselves. Are children around the world imbued in a global environment with peace, dignity, tolerance, freedom, equality, and solidarity? Let's be honest to ourselves. How can we sit and stand here consciously with a clear conscience today as we mark this 35th anniversary, and none of us, or all of us collectively, are not willing to face the truth and the reality? That is, the system is broken. The support for children is collapsing around us, and more children are plunging into an environment of indignity in which their peace is disrupted, their mental health is destroyed, and their hope of a beautiful future is unraveling just before us. Look at our region. Look at Haiti. Yet, we don't see a collective fund to address the children of Haiti. We need to separate children and find a mechanism to protect children under various circumstances. Look at what is happening every time a hurricane passes through one of the islands. Look at what is happening with conflict in Somalia. Look at what is happening in Ukraine. Look at what is happening in Gaza. I have many friends who don't even look at the news anymore. So on this 35th anniversary, what is our collective position as a United Nations family? Can we even collectively get a resolution from the Security Council? Collectively, addressing all of these conflicts for children. What is there to celebrate as a global family? Yes, as a country, there's much we can point to celebrate. But where are we today as a human family? Where are we today in this global community? We can go shout up on the mountain and tell the story of glory. The realities for children around the globe. It's a reminder of the work that lies ahead of us. It's a reminder that for the attributes of peace, dignity, tolerance, freedom, equality, and solidarity to be achieved, the system has to change. Because after all, we are part of the global community. When democracy and the rule of law is eroded to the curb, who suffers? Look at our neighbors. The pain and trauma for the children. Who suffers? invariably, those who suffer the most are our children. And I'm not even telling you about the long-term suffering. We're not even talking mental health. I give every one of us an assignment. Go to the developed world and check what is their budget for mental health. And then translate into the developing world and these conflict areas. What scope and type of investment will be needed to address just mental health issues? People say how many children are dying in Ukraine, in Gaza, in Haiti. But those who are left alive, can you imagine the scar? Can you imagine their future? So today, in Guyana, we have much to celebrate. I would not go through the entire list of legislations that we would have enacted: Domestic Violence Act, the Family Violence Act, the Protection of the Child Act, Status of Children Act. I told you I will not do it, and I am still going to do it. Juvenile Justice Act, the Sexual Offences Act, the Adoption of Children Act, Custody, Contact, Guardianship, and Maintenance Act. All of these things we have done. We're investing in our children's future. But as a leader, I do not sit comfortable today, because we live in a painful world when it comes to children. As a leader, I cannot tell you that my conscience is clear with what is happening in the world. Because some morning I wake up in a very complex way, knowing that I am part of a system and knowing what is the output of that system. And we just have to sit there and accept it. If we want to make meaningful changes, let's be ready to put in the meaningful effort that would change institutions and systems. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you, Mr. President. On this day, the 18th of November, 2024, on the occasion of the 35th anniversary of the Convention on the Rights of the Child, in a unified effort to uphold our duties to the children of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana, we, the Government of Guyana, hereby reaffirm our resolute commitment to advancing the realization of the rights and well-being of every child in the country. Since its adoption in 1989, the Convention on the Rights of the Child has stood as a fundamental pillar for the global protection and progressive realization of children's rights. The Convention recognizes children as rights holders and is guided by core principles that call upon governments to ensure children's survival, development, best interests, and participation without discrimination. As a signatory to the Convention on the Rights of the Child, we, the government of Guyana, have undertaken significant strides to advance children's rights during the past 3.5 decades. Through the enactment of legislation, implementation of policies and programs, and the allocation of resources, we have made progress towards the realization of children's rights. Yet, we acknowledge that more must be done to fully realize the rights enshrined within the Convention on the Rights of the Child. Across the globe, children remain victims of civil conflicts, wars, natural disasters, poverty, and face continuous threats to their well-being due to discrimination, violence, and inadequate access to essential services. In recognition of these challenges, the government of Guyana reaffirms its dedication to the provisions and principles of the Convention on the Rights of the Child. We commit to intensifying our efforts to address the challenges that hinder child rights and to foster a more inclusive, supporting, and nurturing environment that enables all children to reach their full potential. To this end, the government of Guyana shall continue to strengthen legal, institutional, and policy frameworks by adopting an integrated systems approach across all social sectors. This includes implementing measures to protect children from all forms of violence, exploitation, and abuse, as well as preventing the unnecessary separation of families in difficult circumstances. Continue to prioritize the adequate allocation and effective use of resources to support initiatives that advance children's rights and promote their well-being, with particular focus on children under the age of 10, ensuring that every child can reach their full potential. Continue to address critical issues impacting children, including climate change and natural disasters, rising childhood obesity, escalating mental health challenges, and the growing technological divide. Strengthen and expand efforts to protect and empower adolescent girls, ensuring that they have access to diverse opportunities that foster their growth and development, and develop programs to ensure the unique challenges adolescent boys face, prioritizing their safety and well-being, and providing essential resources that enhance their education, health, and economic independence to realize their full potential. Strengthen efforts and implement targeted measures to ensure that no child is left behind, and specifically address the challenges faced by children with disabilities to ensure their inclusion in society. Foster inclusive and participatory decision-making processes that empower children to voice their perspectives and influence decisions affecting their lives. Through the endorsement of this commitment document, we also pledge to fortify collaboration and cooperation with all stakeholders to advance the realization of child rights. As we embark upon the next phase of our journey towards recalling the vision of the Convention on the Rights of the Child, we, the government of Guyana, steadfastly maintain our pledge to collectively and tirelessly endeavor to construct a world where children can grow, develop, and lead a life free from fear, discrimination, and injustice. Thank you.
cutting. Can we have the members of the diplomatic corps to join to witness the symbolic cake cutting activity?
Testing.
So now that we would have finished the cake cutting activity, at this point, we wish to express gratitude on behalf of everyone present here from the various organizations and children all across Guyana. A special thank you to His Excellency Dr. Irfan Ali for his very moving words. In additionally, we'd like to thank all of the various ministers, members of the diplomatic corps, and representatives from all the organizations, and not forgetting the children that are here. Thank you for your time and participation.
Yeah. We now bring this formal part of the program to a close, and we invite the students to join us below in the front of the playground area for a painting exercise of child's right messages on the seawall. Many thanks to the Office of the First Lady for granting the necessary permission to facilitate this exercise. So this activity is an opportunity for us to creatively express our hopes and messages about child rights. And we encourage all of you, especially the youths, to join in. Your voices and artistic expression are vital in shaping the narrative for a better future. So once again, thank you all for being here today, and we look forward for your continued support and participation. Let's keep the spirit of today alive as we work together to uphold the principles of the Convention on the Rights of the Child. Enjoy the rest of your day, and please feel free to join us for the painting exercise right here.